So this is the main greenhouse at a Misk farm. And this structure, in fact, does not have any supplemental heating. And so in terms of standard terminology, this would be called a cold frame. Uh, but we hope to integrate heating into it soon, and we call it a greenhouse. It's double walled, so there's two layers of poly that are filled up with an inflator that's located at the back of the greenhouse, and that adds a significant amount of R value to the structure, enabling us to produce here in the very early spring right into early winter. This is made in Canada in a very affordable structure. And you could easily install one of these in your community. There's not too much to it. A structure like this should cost less than $30,000 to purchase, and you could plan for about 1 week to install it with a crew of 4 people. So this greenhouse is 80 feet long by 32 feet wide, and we do permanent beds here. So all our crops are growing right in the soil. We amend the soil with locally sourced composted manure, as well as some organic approved chicken fertilizer. And we try to mulch the pathways just to support soil life in here. When we originally cleared the site, we had stripped it down to mineral soil, and we had issues with compaction and just overall poor soil quality. And so we did some deep ripping of the beds, and we used broad forks a lot, and keep incorporating different types of organic matter, both nitrogen rich organic matter as well as carbon sources, so that and the soil life's quickly coming back. We now have much improved drainage, excellent growing in here. It works in a pinch and is one of the more common uses for a greenhouse, right? Is doing starts for your farm. So we're in mid-season right now. We're in actually kind of late season in August, and it's fine to do a little starts in here. Seeding starts for the farm as early as February for some of the crops. And then we do succession planting. So we continue seeding both in grow trays to go out in the field as transplants, or direct seeding right up until the end of August. We'll seed crops here in our zone 3B climate. We're in the South Peace region. In the greenhouse here, we will have crops in the ground that are harvestable right into the new year. Some of the cold hardy kales we were harvesting in January last winter out of this unheated greenhouse, which is really nice that time of year to be able to harvest some fresh greens. And once we get a heating system in here, or maybe a few different types of heating systems, we would probably be able to maintain just some low temperatures to support some of those really cold hardy crops over the whole winter. The main source of water here, it's potable water from our banned water system, and we have a frost-free hydrant outside of the greenhouse. It just goes in a heavy-duty garden hose, and it feeds right into our irrigation headers. We'll just go down to the other side of the greenhouse, and we can take a look at what that looks like. So here, the garden hose, we just fed it up on top of the greenhouse rafters, and it goes in, connects in. This solenoid is just an on-off switch that we can power by digital timers that you can pick up in the hardware store for about $20. So you can automate it. And then that feeds in through a pressure regulator. It just ensures that the pressure doesn't exceed 25 psi. High pressures can blow out or damage your irrigation emitters. And that feeds down into a T, I should say, and it splits off so that you can either, one, feed water through the drip lines. So there's a header here on the ground that has drip line connectors for each bed that can be individually opened or closed, which is a really nice option in terms of water conservation, and also eliminating excess moisture on the leaves of plants that could be prone to mildew or botrytis, or kind of those fungal related diseases from excess moisture. But we also do like to use our overhead irrigation. So the other side of that T goes to these overhead irrigation lines, and these drop down lines, and these simple emitters we purchase the individual components of these and just build them right on the farm. You can get these from any greenhouse supply or farm supply store. We order them online from a company out in Quebec. But cucumbers, they do really well in the unheated greenhouse. We grow some Lebanese type as well as a lot of pickling cucumbers. And yeah, basically we grow them in a single row on the bed, and we use these tomato hooks, they're called. We just run a piece of wire, tighten it up with a fencing tightener, and these just hang on it, and you can unroll them, and you just wrap the cucumbers around them. They're held on at the very bottom with a little clip. And yeah, they grow amazingly well on these. Cucumbers do require a lot of maintenance. They have to be pruned at least every 2 weeks, but the amount of harvest you'll get off of every one of these plants is pretty remarkable. We are picking them almost every day in the height of the season right now. So we're here today at the Amisk Farm Hoop House. These structures are also called caterpillar tunnels, and they're one of the most affordable ways for a small farm to access a lot of the benefits associated with greenhouse growing. This poly is UV treated greenhouse grade plastic, and it's on a galvanized steel frame. These frames are simply slid on pieces of rebar that are hammered into the ground, and then the whole thing is held on with a piece of rope that's strung back and forth across the structure and tied off on both ends. Something like this could be built within a couple of hours, and it'll really increase productivity on your farm. So a lot of the benefits to this structure are increasing the average temperature in the growing area. So it enables you to grow earlier and later in the season. It also enables you to grow heat-loving crops really well, like these tomatoes or these zucchini that we started weeks earlier than the ones that are outside in the field. Also, a lot of plants benefit from not being exposed to overhead rain, which can lead to fungal issues potentially in your field crops. So this space is kind of optimized. We keep overhead irrigation, which we'll use early season on our seedlings, but as it progresses to mid and late season growing, we switch over to drip line style irrigation, which eliminates the plant foliage being covered with excess water, leading to those potential fungal issues I mentioned. So you can grow a lot. We find that the same plants growing in the hoop house will almost double in productivity compared to the crops grown in the field. So you can see here, these structures are just so simple and easy to build. A bit of rebar to hold the main frame in place, and just a couple of T-posts, which you can get from any farm store, supply store, or hardware store to hold the main ends.